innovation, resilience, agility. It's how Michigan businesses work together and continue to build the future. Our expertise, talented workforce, and collaborative environment are making a difference now and shaping the future. Join us and make your mark where it matters. Visit michiganbusiness.org/radio to put your plans in motion. That's michiganbusiness.org/radio.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your driver's license is important so you can get back and forth to work, get your kids to school, and back and forth to daycare. If your license has been suspended because you can't pay your tickets, you can't do any of those things. Let's talk about Chapter 13 bankruptcy. You may have heard the tickets cannot be discharged, but they can be dealt with in a Chapter 13 case. Why not come in for a free consultation? The chapter you choose will make all the difference to your getting back legally on the road. Let's design a plan to pay off your tickets and restore your license immediately. I'm attorney Travis Gagne. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. I'm just dumbfounded by this story. A former Colorado gynecologist who dyed a patient's lady parts purple in what he called a joke has avoided jail time as part of a plea deal and will be allowed to continue practicing medicine.
Okay, yeah, everyone deserves a second chance to not dye people's vagines purple.
Yeah, this guy, Dr. Barry W. King, he pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor count of harassment in connection with the incident, which involves his former employee who came to him for medical advice after growing concern that her cancer was back. Okay, see, somebody comes to you and they're worried about cancer coming back because, you know what, she's a breast cancer survivor. She'd undergone a double mastectomy. I don't think you do practical jokes on somebody like that when they come to you and they're your coworker.
Right, like you say, oh, I got a weird rash or some weird itch. Can you check this out? I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else. But yeah, if your concern is cancer, let's not play jokes.
Yeah, so she found
unless they have that kind of dynamic with each other, which from reading the story, I don't think they did.
Yeah, she found a lesion down there, and of course, again, she's a cancer survivor, so obviously anything that she finds on her body, I'd be nervous about. So her own gynecologist had retired, so she thought, okay, I'll go to Barry since I work for the dude. And at the end of the exam, she said that Barry had said something odd to her. He said, quote, yeah, when you get home tonight, I want you to have your husband take a look at that. Like, she's like, okay, you want me to look at, okay.
Yeah, I said, check, my husband's not a gynecologist, Barry.
Right.
This Barry guy seems like trouble.
Yeah. So she went to the bathroom at home, and then she noticed purple color on the toilet paper after she was done using the bathroom. Now, because she's in the industry, she immediately recognized it as a dye that's used to be that you use to treat medical issues, including yeast infections. So
yeah, I don't know what I would think it was otherwise.
Yeah, she's like, what the hell? So she goes back to work the next day. She said Barry seemed very different. He was acting giddy. When the topic of her exam and his use of the purple dye came up, Barry told her that it was a joke. And then she found out that Barry had told other people in their office about this joke of basically him dyeing her vagine purple.
I don't know how I'd react if Barry came out to me and goes, hey, guess what I did to Sally? I took her lady parts and dyed them purple.
Dude,
like, why are you telling me this, man?
And plus, it's 2018. You're like, I don't know how long ago this happened, but it's relatively recent.
Hey, somebody brings up a good point. Maybe he's a Vikings fan.
Oh. You know, I hadn't thought about that. Right. It doesn't say where does it say? It doesn't say Minnesota, so I don't know.
Or a Huskies fan.
Could be a Huskies fan. Well, then there would have been some gold in there, don't you think? Gold.
Well, the purple part. You know that area is gold.
That's a good point. So she believes the end goal of Barry's prank was that she would have sex with her husband while she still had purple dye in her genital areas. Thus, she would turn her husband's genitals purple, giving the guy, blue boys? Is that what he was thinking would be the
flawless plan there?
Turn into a real-life eggplant.
Yeah, flawless victory. Yeah.
Now, see, that seems like something funny to do to your own husband. Like, if you had the ability to be able to dye something.
Yes.
That's a fun prank amongst a married couple. I don't know if I want my doctor helping out to do this kind of a prank.
Plus, the poor woman had a double mastectomy, so everything that goes, she's going to think is cancer. Seriously.
Yeah, I don't know if you WebMD, but I don't think turning your husband's dong purple means that you have cancer.
But if you're the one that's got the purpleness in you, seriously, I don't know, dude. I would be, oh man. Luckily, she works in the business.
That's an elaborate prank.
He's a genius. How about he gets to practice again?
Yeah, that's a little weird. I don't know if I'd ever want to go visit Barry.
I bet you would.
Me?
He's a practical joker. You probably would love that kind of guy.
Last I checked, I don't need to see a gynecologist.
You sure?
I'm positive.
I don't know. I think that would be part of the practical joke. And then next thing you know, you're all purple.
Somebody says maybe it's the purple people eater.
Yeah. Wow. Well, he avoided jail time and he's back to practicing. So
how does someone think that's a good idea? And how did any of the coworkers that he told think that was funny?
Joe, I think the coworkers, if he's the boss of the joints, just go, yeah, Barry.
Good one, Barry.
We all know a guy that thinks he's funnier and that she thinks he's funnier than they really are. Oh. And they're always telling jokes. I mean, don't you have that one guy? Oh, I forget where I read. Somebody, maybe it was my buddy telling me, everywhere, the guy won't stop telling jokes. And it's like, God, yeah. I
had a buddy, V. Ted Smith and I had a mutual friend, and we would try and always incorporate him into our going out times. Like, hey, come out with us, and he was a up-and-coming stand-up comic.
Oh.
So he wasn't like a boss. We weren't forced to laugh at his jokes. But he was an up-and-coming stand-up comic. He's actually turned out to be a really good stand-up comic. He moved out of the city and all that, but at the time, he was still practicing his craft.
Oh.
And after a while, we finally had to pull him aside and be like, dude, can you stop testing out your jokes on us? Like, can we just hang out and have fun, eat some chicken wings, go to a bar, do stupid stuff, and not have to worry about you working on a routine? Because it got annoying.
Yeah, that does suck when you think, like, all I am is a testing ground. I'm not even your buddy.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't have any gynecologist friends, and I sure as hell don't think I would endorse them turning people's privates purple.
Yeah, I know. I could see this happening 20 years ago and people thinking not knowing any better. But today, okay, how do you think that's a good idea?
That might be the dumbest prank ever. Because you still had a hope that the husband was going to have sex with his wife, who's stressing about having cancer down there.
Yeah, it's all the way around. Yeah, she's got a lesion, so there's no way she's going to be thinking about doing anything. But you're right, she's going to be just emotionally upset and hope things are okay. And then you go and dye the vagine purple, and then she's like, "What in the devil is going?" How did he think this was a good idea? And he's a doctor. He went through med school? My mind can't get around it. He's that stupid. I just can't believe he could have got through med school.
Well, what do you say? Is like that gallows humor where sometimes all bets are off when it comes to certain professions?
You're right. You're absolutely right. That may be a big part of it.
But I don't know. Is that something that's going? I'm not. Like I said, I'm not part of like any kind of Facebook group for gynecologists.
You're not?
Although I would like to be because I think that'd be pretty entertaining.
I'll see what I can do. I know.
But is that like a good thing? Like, hey, let's dye people's purple?
Dude, you know what? The gallows humor isn't, you may be right about that. I mean, you hear some bizarre stories from what people do in hospitals. And so
I just don't get that they said, hey, okay, you've got, I think you had to do some stuff like community service or something along those lines. But how do you say, hey, man, you know what? We trust that you're going to be good with other women's vaginas.
Yeah. Dang. Well,
you've learned your lesson.
I wonder how his Yelp reviews will go. Kind of a good guy. I wouldn't go there unless you want your vagine dyed purple. Otherwise, you know what? You go find somebody.
I gave him 4 stars. I would have given him 5, but he turned my vag purple.
Exactly. Oh, man. All right, so we're talking Halloween. And Google analyzed searches for Halloween costumes and found the top 500 things that people are planning to dress up as this year. Now, this I will take some stock in because Google has access to all that data, and so they can really, really show us what's going on. Number one thing, they've got 500. Now, we're not going to do all the 500. We'll give you the top 10. The number one costume, Fortnite. At least that's what people are searching for, based on the game Fortnite.
What the hell is a Fortnite? I know the game, but what the hell is there an iconic character that you could dress up as?
They have a bunch of different skins that you can do. And so some of the characters do have just like camo pants and a t-shirt, but you can do a bunch of different things. And like the customizable weapons and stuff, like there's like pickaxes that look like unicorns and like other ridiculous things.
Vicky's showing me some costumes for Fortnite. Okay, I can see how that's something that's recognizable if you're a fan of the game.
And it's a wide variety, too. I mean, it's insane.
It's all over the place with it.
They've got dozens and dozens of different looks that if you showed me those, I would never know that was associated with a game.
I took Lily trick-or-treating on Saturday, and I didn't see any Fortnite, but I did see a lot of Minecraft.
Did you guys go somewhere where they knew you were going to trick or treat, or did you just show up on people's doors?
Just on people's doors, we know.
That would be hilarious.
That would be great. It would be great.
I mean, you guys look good. I would, but still, a couple days early, I'd be like,
If someone knocked on my door and said trick or treat, and it was Saturday and Halloween's not till Wednesday, I would definitely go into our closet, find our candy, and give them some candy.
I thought about it, but I didn't want to be shooed off and have her cry and be like, why am I not getting any candy? So I took her to a zoo thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
There was something happening right outside the Menchie's in South Hill where they were having a line of kids and they were just getting candy, I think.
and of course, that's what a lot of malls and
I tried to get in line, but they wouldn't allow it.
I'm so surprised. I mean, because you have your Dorf outfit, you look like a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. That's just to be that one adult. Really? Nothing?
Yeah.
Are you going to do you know if Lily's going to trick or treat? Like, will she go house to house?
Yeah, she's going to.
Because a lot of people don't do it anymore.
It was weird. Have you guys ever heard of a trunk or treat?
No.
Yeah.
So it's people, they like dress up their cars. They go to like a parking lot, like at a church or something.
I think that's what they were doing at the mall, at the place.
it was really cool.
What?
Yeah.
South Hill. So really? So you're in the mall parking lot and people that's where they do. They have their trunks there and they're giving out candy that way.
Yeah. We went to a church
awesome.
one where like there was a bunch of people and they like actually like decked out their cars. Like haunted houses and stuff.
I like that. I mean, it's, you're still getting the neighborly interaction, but it's a lot more safer environment.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
It's hatchback shaming. I don't have a trunk.
Oh.
You know,
Well, that's
the door
even
that opens
better.
up, yeah.
Dude, a hatchback, you can make the hatchback trick that baby out.
Oh, Mr. Nitpicker, I bet somebody would be like, look, sir, you don't have a trunk. Get out.
Well, don't
You and your
you know
Jeep.
what? I would not be that guy because I would know the hard work you've gone to.
Okay.
Plus, you're giving out candy.
That's
Who's
a
going to
fair
turn
point.
that
Yeah,
down?
right?
Sure.
Come on.
Even me, the nitpicker, is going to go, hey, wait. Oh, wait. You give
When did this start, this whole trunk or treat thing?
This was the first year I heard about it.
Never even heard of
But
it.
apparently it's a thing.
Well, that's awesome. That is really, really awesome. Trunk or treat. I like that idea. Because I don't know. There's something about
It's
going
good
to
to train kids to take candy out of people's cars.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
Nothing wrong with that.
As opposed to just going to someone's door and asking for candy.
Then they all got their flaws.
Yeah, just don't bring the white van to trunk or treat. That's all we ask.
Vicky pulled up one of a Finding Nemo themed trunk, and it's the back of a minivan. So yes, they're able to make it happen, and they have a bunch of balloons in there to make it look like it's the sea with Nemo.
See, I actually, just because of the way people are tricking out their cars, I love that. That's actually kind of a cool thing.
It's actually really neat.
Yeah.
Vicky's showing us now a Pac-Man one.
Yeah. See, I want to double dip. I want to do all of that, and then I want to go trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank God that we didn't have any of this when my kids were growing up, because then that's all we would have been doing. You're driving kids everywhere for one particular day you're supposed to.
I like how Vicky's like, I love it. What a great idea. Thank God I didn't have to do it with my kids, though.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to have to. I mean, I think it's a wonderful idea, but I don't want to be the one just schlepping them down. I mean, it's one day. I'm supposed to do it for one day. I got to do it multiple days now.
Well, you got to do it on the weekend, so kids can enjoy it on the weekend.
Danny did it like this week. I mean, the people are doing it 2 weekends in a row.
Yeah.
One person says I did at my elementary school when I was a kid 20 years ago, trunk or treat.
Wow.
I didn't know about it back then. Your school must have been a trendsetter.
Yeah, definitely. I never heard of such a thing.
Chris saw his first one a couple years ago at a church, and then Christy B says I took my 2 youngest to our first trunk or treat, and it was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, apparently it's been around for years, according to a few people.
It's definitely, if it's been around for years, it must not be such a big thing, and now finally is getting widespread attention because I never heard of it.
And one person says prizes are given for the best decked out vehicle usually.
Oh, so here you are, you're giving out your candy, and you might get something in return.
They had like cakewalks going on.
Oh
they had
my God,
like
it's like a
a
big
barbecue where you could buy food if you wanted to. It was pretty
Whoa.
cool. And we
All
just
right.
saw a sign. Like we were driving home from Starbucks and we saw trunk or treat and she was still in costume. And I was like, do you want to go get more candy? She was like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we went.
Oh, see, now I know there was food for adults. All right, I'm back in.
So like tailgating.
Yeah, okay, now I'm back in. If it's tailgating, then you know what? Then it's something for me and something for the kids. Okay, I'm back in.
Oh, LeMay Car Museum and Event Center have been doing trunk or treat for years, according from Matt and Puyallup.
See, how do we not know all this stuff for years? I don't know this.
Another texter says they also do one right outside of pole position in the Parkland area, and the adults go into the gentleman's club called Foxes.
No.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's great. That's
I'm
another
kidding.
kind of
That's not
trunk
true.
or treat.
They don't really do that. That would be actually pretty awesome.
That would.
That's called daddy daycare.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is.
Hey kid, walk around, get your candy. I'll be in this establishment. Ask Crystal for me if you need me.
You know what? Maybe you shouldn't be a parent.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to
That's
rethink
nice.
this idea of you wanting to be a parent.
Someone says trunk or treating for years.
Well, Vicky knows about it, but Danny and you and I never heard of it. How about you, Rev? You hear about it?
No, never have heard about it before.
I heard about it this year, but apparently it's been going on since the mid-90s.
I like how Vicky shook her head like she knew what it was about.
Yeah,
like,
I knew.
But it was like, I'm a wise one. I've known about trunk or treat since
The
last
question
year.
was,
I'm a trunk or
have you guys heard of trunk or treating? Like, yes, I have heard
Yeah,
of
but
it.
you were giving a nod like, come on,
like-
you're not no trunk or treat, you losers.
I
you
was like,
noobs.
it was more like, yes, I've heard of it because I'm on the internet, old
Tired of this
man.
misrepresentation.
Car clubs have been doing it for a while, according to one texter. That makes sense because where the Menchie's is, a lot of car clubs do like their car shows there.
Wait, you got car shows and a Menchie's in the same place?
Yeah.
Gosh darn it, you guys are living.
There's a Trappers in that same development,
Oh,
a
my
Ram,
God.
a Mod Pizza.
What? And my pizza with the
Yep.
no-name cake?
You got it all, bitch.
I really want the armadillo eggs from the Ram.
Wow.
Slightly aggressive there.
My bad.
I have never had an armadillo egg. What is that?
Oh, it's like chicken and cheese and jalapeno and like fried up into a little like egg-looking thing. Oh, God, it's delicious.
Sounds good. Well, how come you... Okay, we got to go to the Ram now.
Yeah, I was like, I don't make them. The Ram does.
I got to go to the Ram. I got to go to Red Lobster. There's so many places I got to go.
Pole position.
Yeah.
And then Daddy Daycare, a.k.a. Fox's.
You gotta go to the keg to get your cocktail.
All right.
Somebody says, I prefer trick or drink. We hand out Jell-O shots to the adults in our neighborhood.
That's actually pretty cool, too. Well, I only got to the number one costume. Sorry, folks. That's all we got for You'll have to look up the rest of them. Hey, it's all the people. There's superheroes, Spider-Man, unicorns.
Boring.
Yeah, it's not as good as Trunk or Treat, at Fox's. All right, we got a recent survey that was done on how strict parents, like how strict they are. And, I'm not going to be on this list, of course, but how strict were your parents compared to everyone else's? I'm going to tell you at 8:17 on The Rock.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. About 50,000 people recently took a survey online, and we've got 7 questions to help you figure out how strict your parents were compared to everybody else's. And I think it's good to do. That way my kids will see just exactly what a charmed life they had.
What an awesome father that you were.
Definitely.
Cats in the cradle and so.
That's right. Hey, little boy blue.
Father of mine.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's the song right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 1, did they ever ground you?
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
you and I are probably going to answer all of these.
I was just sharing that story. I got in trouble. Well, I think it was on the Mixcast. If I remember, we were talking about Alice in Chains, and the only opportunity I would have ever had to see Lane Staley with Alice in Chains would have been when they opened up for Van Halen. But I got in trouble, got grounded, and didn't get to go, and never got to see Alice in Chains with Lane.
Oh, damn, dude.
And still don't talk to my parents about that.
I don't blame you. That's a little extreme. They had to know that, look, this is special. Seeing Alice with Lane, oh, yeah, you don't get grounded for that.
Right. That would have been awesome to see them open for Van Halen.
How crazy was that's what they were doing?
And I think it was Van Hagar. I think it was around that time.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I was never technically grounded because but I also was never allowed to do anything either. So there was nothing to ground me from.
A lifetime grounding?
Yeah, it was just like I couldn't spend the night at friends' houses, and the few times I did, I literally got on my hands and knees until I annoyed the crap out of my parents to let me, and they'd come and pick me up at 7 a.m.
Really?
Yeah, like they just weren't comfortable with me spending the night at people's houses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it because they thought you might get
Kidnapped or something, hurt.
Oh, what? Really?
Well, they grew up in Mexico.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
But there wasn't like one friend's parents that your parents thought, okay, I could trust my daughter with them.
One, but they were from Venezuela, so my mom could talk to them and speak Spanish, and I was her translator, so...
Aha.
So that was like the one friend.
I can appreciate that, even though that's not something that happens in our country a lot. And I mean, why would they kidnap you? Don't they kidnap like dignitaries and like really, really important people or really like super crazy rich people?
Oh, you didn't know that Vicky was a dignitary?
Oh, is she? No, I didn't know that.
Life, yes.
See, I would think that I'd be like, no one's going to kidnap my kids. We got no cash.
It's not so much for cash. I mean, people kidnap kids for other reasons.
Oh, really? That happens in Mexico too?
Yeah.
I thought it was just for cash. What are they doing? They want child labor and stuff?
Yes.
Other stuff too.
Well, I know the other stuff.
Yes.
For kids?
Yes, people are awful. Like everywhere in the
There are
world.
messed up people everywhere.
Oh.
Did I just break your innocence bubble?
Well, I thought it happened, not to kids. I thought, that trafficking was something that happened like when you were like,
I'm not even talking about trafficking. I'm talking about just being inappropriate.
No, Oh, you mean for their own benefit?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, well, see, to me, kidnapping means they're holding you for a hostage, like for ransom.
Sure.
That's what I think of kidnapping.
Just your standard movie.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's I
like that you're going to have an argument with the person that holds your kid. Well, this isn't technically the right type of kidnapping, what you're doing with my child.
Yeah, sir.
I don't have any money.
What are you doing here?
Call me back when you got the right phrase.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I was the same as Vicky. My mom didn't let me spend the night at anybody's house ever. So I never did that until probably college. It was the first time I spent a night away from the house, like at a friend's house.
And was it the same thing?
I have no idea why. She just didn't trust anyone.
Because I think if you were my kid, I would hope somebody would kidnap you.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah, my parents let me sleep over anyone's house.
Yes, well, they were hoping.
But I only got grounded once, and it didn't stick for the entire week. She grounded me for a week, and it only stuck for about 2 days. And then
Felt
she was
bad.
like, "Yeah, you're not grounded anymore."
Or you were just annoying her to the point where she's like, just go outside and be alone.
Sounds like
civil plan.
That sounds like my wife. We could never. I mean, I got a couple days, and then she just, and she always snuck stuff to the kids and felt bad. So it was, they had help from the inside. It was an inside job. They had an informant. It wasn't good.
Yeah, I remember trying to ground Lulu once when she pooped in the bed. That was a puppy.
We're not gonna have.
I was hell bent on letting her stay in that crate the whole night, but then my wife backed down and was like, "Come on, softy."
Dog is not your child. So
It's pretty close.
It's not. Okay, cat boy. It's not.
She's never pooped in the bed again.
Yeah, great.
Nice.
Yeah,
Lesson learned.
Yeah, great. Maybe if you don't, have your animals and treat them like human beings, they won't poop anywhere near where you live.
Maybe
you just keep them in a kennel where they all belong, including Rev. All right. Only 54% of the people say they got grounded as a kid. So half of us did, half of us didn't.
Well, the person said my parents said I couldn't go see Smashing Pumpkins with some friends. Decided I'd face the consequences and went to the show. They showed up and let me stay. I got grounded for 3 months. So worth it.
Damn. Did your parents ever limit your TV or internet hours?
No.
Tried to.
Yeah, tried.
I can't remember ever that happening. But mainly, we only had a TV for the longest time downstairs.
Yeah.
So when Dad came home, it became Dad's hours. And he loved watching TV.
They don't even know what we're talking about, Steve. You and I are talking about one TV in a house. Yep. Therefore, you basically, if your show is on, you couldn't watch your show because Dad's show was on at the same time. So it's his house, his TV.
The only time they took the TV out of my bedroom, and it was a small, 9-inch black and white TV, but I figured out a way to get it to scramble so I could watch porn.
Of course you did.
Is it where you switch it back and forth real fast? Yes.
My dad walked in on that. One hand on the AB switch. One hand somewhere else.
Oh, no.
And he just said, I'm taking this, and you're never getting it back.
Yeah. Like that will stop him. What father ever believes if you take away the stimuli, you're going to stop the activity from happening?
And then I found his Playboy collection.
There you go. Served him. Oh, so, at that point, yeah. I mean, really, Dad? The hypocrite Harry over there?
Oh, man on a mission, Pops.
Yeah. What does he think? I mean, come on. Oh, man.
There were times where, the feed would just instantly just give you the Playboy Network. So, and I would just never turn the channel. Yeah. I would just keep it on that channel.
It was glued there.
And I would just stay in my room and just take the most of that opportunity, if you know what I mean.
Wow.
Steve, we haven't seen you in 3 days. You look a little gaunt. Have you lost a lot of fluids? Are you sick?
But your forearm is swole.
Right?
Whoa. Just living with animals is really what it is. If you have boys as children, you're living with animals.
They never made me, or my mom never took away TV from me, but we didn't have internet. She refused to get it. So there was that. I guess that's refusing to do it.
My wife tried that hard line. That was the only thing. She said, we're going to be vegetarians. We're going to be Hare Krishnas. I said, sure, dear. Yes, dear. Yes, dear to all of that. But when she said, well, we're not going to have a TV in the house, I go, listen, B, here's how it's going to be. Okay, you're not taking my TV away. This is where the line gets drawn.
Well, this person got grounded for a month for doing donuts in the parking lot in my truck. Only lasted for 4 days, though.
Yeah. Sounds like it was worth it.
Yeah.
Is it bad that when you said donuts, I immediately thought the snack? Like the donut.
Donut.
How about being allowed to watch R-rated movies?
My house was known for being the place where all my classmates back in the day, they would come over and we would watch those bad B movies like Porky's.
Oh, nice.
Spring Break. That was one of my favorites. Losing It.
And your mom and dad, no problem.
They didn't care.
Isn't that something?
We watched the pay-per-view of one of those Howard Stern pay-per-views.
Yeah.
And it was myself and my buddy Chris and one of my other buddies. And that was awkward because my grandma was watching it in the room, and then they did the whole butt bongo thing.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden my grandma pulls out the rosary beads. and just closes her eyes.
It's okay.
Starts doing some
I need a couple of active contritions for this one.
yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, my parents never really cared about bad language or anything along those lines. That was never an issue. I think because they had foul mouths, so they knew they were being super hypocrites if they tried to get us to stop cursing.
Yes, says the man who takes out the TV as he's got the Playboy collection, but that's probably what he's supposed to do.
Right.
I don't know. Do you think your mom knew about his collection?
Yeah.
Oh,
he had a subscription.
Yeah,
it showed up in the mail.
That is interesting. That is fascinating. That there were guys that were able to openly have a Playboy prescription.
Yeah.
I've been prescribed Playboy before.
Doctor's orders.
Take 2 of these and call me in the morning if you know.
Does your
what I mean.
insurance cover that prescription?
Yeah. Well, it was I think in high school, my dad was getting sick of me stealing them, so he worked out a deal that if I got good grades for a year, that he would get me a subscription or a prescription.
Yeah.
To Playboy. That was my best academic year.
So he had given in at that point.
Yeah, he said F it.
Yeah, he's like, okay,
Son's going to crank it whether I want him to or not.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Just keep the door closed.
Yeah, he finally figured that out.
Yep.
Yeah, here's your TV back.
And I got a subscription to Playboy. So we had 2 issues show up. Which is, I think he didn't want to know that he was handing over something that he was using.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe handing over is not the right term.
Yeah, I agree.
That's about the most appropriate right
That's
there.
the one thing you don't want to do is share those magazines. You just don't. Not with your kids. Yeah. Well, R-rated movies. I mean, the kind of R-rated movies I would show my kids, though, were like, the really extreme horror sci-fi. I did traumatize Joey.
Yeah, you did. You took him to go see Starship Troopers.
I know, but it's a great story. I didn't realize it was going to be as graphic as it was.
It was really graphic.
I know. I felt so bad, but I thought this is a great novel. It's a great book. He's going to learn cool stuff.
You and my stepdad were about the same because he took me to go see Predator when I was 7 years old. Yeah, the exploding chest scene. I think it was Jesse the Body Ventura that had his chest explode outwards.
Yeah,
that was kind of shocking.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, we also went to go see Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and that one was particularly terrifying. But the only time he ever covered my eyes were when Freddy turned into a nurse and she showed her boobies.
Isn't that funny?
Violence is fine. Boobs. Can't have my kids see that.
Can't do that.
We are such a weird society.
We are.
Seriously.
One person says, I was totally allowed to watch 80s action films. I remember watching Rambo with my dad when I was 6.
They're classic, though.
Texter says, I watched the movie Chucky at 5 years old.
Ooh.
I like this one. On the old cable boxes with the turn dial, if you stopped it between numbers and shoved some folded up cardboard into it so it wouldn't flip, you could get porn unscrambled.
The tricks.
Back in the old analog days. You kids don't understand what it was like.
You don't know the pain that we went through to get our porn.
Did you ever get one of those unscrambler boxes?
No, my dad wouldn't even get that kind of stuff.
Why?
Because my dad had everything cost money. We never had HBO. We never had any of that stuff.
My dad finally caved in and did that. It was like the best $50 ever spent.
Yeah, I don't know if we ever had cable in my house. I don't know if it ever happened. I think maybe towards the my 20s, before I got married, I think my dad finally got cable put in the house. Because I remember that he got a VCR too. So we never had any of that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
no wonder why you love television so much.
Oh, dude, one TV for the longest time. I mean, it was a battle to get to watch any show that I wanted to watch. You had to share the one TV, and there were three networks, and then the UHF channels. That's all you had.
And it sucked because when you saw it was like 10:50ish, you knew in 10 minutes my mom is going to make us watch the news. And it was just like the worst half hour of my life.
They didn't do that with me, at least. I appreciate that. How about being in bed at a certain time in elementary school? Did that ever happen for you? I know it did for me. I had to be in bed by a certain time.
Man, I don't even remember. I'm sure. All I remember is being yelled at to go up to bed for Christmas.
You're seeing the evolution of society. How about you, Danny, Vicky? I think my kids, we tried to, but I don't know. Eventually, they just went to bed when they wanted.
I think so, and I think it was either the news or something started on TV that I was too scared to watch or I wasn't supposed to watch, and that was our cue to go to bed.
Mine was Looney Tunes. Once Looney Tunes ended, it was time for bed. I knew that, but I don't know. I don't know what time that was.
How about swearing in front of your parents?
No.
Oh, I could, yeah.
I mean, I couldn't swear at my parents, but if I just said the S word or, they wouldn't get too upset about that.
Oh, that's cool.
But I couldn't be like, Dad, you're an S-head.
Yeah. Yeah. You couldn't say that?
No, he wouldn't react kindly to that.
Yeah, I could say that all the time to my parents.
I couldn't say anything even insulting. I couldn't call my brother an idiot or stupid or anything like that. But then once I got older, it's they can't control this mouth.
Yeah.
They just handle it.
You couldn't say hell.
Ooh.
When I was a kid. I remember
stick.
yelling it in the middle of my street just to piss off the neighbors. Yeah, because they were like, you cannot use that word. I can say what I want. I'm an American. I'm saying this like 11 years old. I can say what I want. I'm an American. Hell, 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 hell.
How about damn?
None
of these were an issue with my. Then again, remember, my mom had to pick me up out of school because I told my teacher they were an MFer, and my mom thought that was really funny.
Your mom is awesome.
Yeah, your parents were cutting edge in that respect.
Well, the other neighborhood parents had an intervention with my mom because they were just like, "Hey, Roseanne, you need to stop using the F word around our kids because they're coming home and they're using." So then she started using the word frickin'. That was her replacement. And then there was another intervention. Be like, can you stop using the word frickin'? Our kids are nonstop frickin' this, frickin' that.
Oh, at that point, your mom was like, really, people?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm trying to help you people out. That's awesome. Yesterday, Steve, he did get this one wrong.
What is the capital of Minnesota?
Minneapolis?
No.
Ooh. Minnesota City?
No.
Petersburg?
No.
Yeah, it's you're close, Steve, because the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, and their capital, St. Paul. You want a shot at beating Steve? You got it. 206-421-ROCK. We're playing Beat Miggs at 8:47 on The Rock.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. Here's another question from a listener. How long is a bankruptcy going to affect my credit rating?
Of course, most of the time, by the time we're talking about filing a bankruptcy, the credit has already taken a huge hit. Chapter 7 is going to affect it more negatively than Chapter 13. Chapter 7 stays on your credit report for 10 years from the time you file. It usually takes 7 or 8 years for your credit scores to get back into the normal range in a Chapter 7 case. However, your credit will start to recover even in Chapter 7 after about a year. You'll be able to get credit again right away, usually before your case is even over. Chapter 13 stays on your credit report for 7 years and usually takes about 3.5 years for your credit to get back in the normal range. So Chapter 13 will mean your credit gets better much more rapidly.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at ChooseTheRightChapter.com. That's ChooseTheRightChapter.com. Thanks for listening.
Innovation, resilience, agility. It's how Michigan businesses continue to work together to make a difference now and shape the future. Join us and make your mark where it matters. Visit michiganbusiness.org/radio.